Catastrophic flooding happening all over. Big deals. I mean, attacks on churches and white Christians and conservatisms. Big deal. But today we're also going to talk about the Epstein files. We're going to talk about why the files are so important. And you may be blown away at what I'm going to say. It's not just the fact of the dangers and the people and the justice. That is huge. But there's something we're missing. It's called transparency. Things that we think about to say, you know what? I'm tired of being lied to, yes. But I'm tired of having our eyes covered up. What we want is transparency. And today we're going to talk about just that. Let's talk about the floods. Let's talk about the persecution we're facing. Let's talk about a few other stories, but let's really talk about the importance of the files. Let's dive in. Hey guys, welcome to our channel. Thank you so very much for being here today. If you are new, please go down here, press subscribe, ring the bell. Give us a thumbs up or thumbs down, that's okay, but let us know what you think about the content of today's video. I cannot stress it enough that we need your support because we are being held down tremendously because we're willing to speak truth. Also remember my other channel, Life with Colby Mack. That is a vlog channel that you see how we live sustainable each and every day. Because right now that channel needs to be subscribed to so that way if something happens here, we can go over there. Now let's jump into the stories of the day. First, let's talk about the Epstein situation because I do want us to bring awareness to it and why I believe it's a big deal. Now, a few things. First and foremost, we need clarity and justice for the people that were affected. That to me is the most important because there was, underage people there that were affected. That needs to be held accountable. Number two, the people that caused the problems of Epstein, of course, but then you have people like, Ghislaine Maxwell. You also have a lot of other players. There's 3 or 4 other women. Keller, I mean, you can go through the list. They need to be held accountable because they were the ones that were actually orchestrating this. That's second. Number 3 is the people who went along with this. It doesn't matter if it was covered up or not because that's the biggest cause of the problems that we're facing today is the people that have been known to be the ones that accepted the crime. And so therefore, it's been covered up really more for them. Number 1, they're being forgotten about, the victims, which shouldn't. Number 2, one has died. I'll be honest with you, you better watch it. If I was Maxwell, I'd make sure they had extreme caution with her, and I hope that she has made a peace with God and been asked for forgiveness of her sins because if her wanting to speak is going to maybe end up with the same results of what you see in all these other cases. Number 3, the problem. Here's the problem with these situations. There's no transparency. You know why the people are mad at Trump and Bondi and Patel and Bongino? You know why everybody's upset with them? Because they are the ones during the campaign, during the time saying that they would release. They would release. Day 1, I would release. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. If they'd shut their mouth, probably everybody would act like it was a cover-up like the JFK situation. But no, they chose to bring it out because they said they want to be the most transparent. Well, they let this redacted version of the JFK files out, which is really a farce. It was so stupid. And after 60 or 70 years, everybody that cared really is gone. And that's probably what they're going to do with Epstein. They're going to probably release this 50 or 60 years from now when my daughter is 50. My youngest daughter's 50 and she could care less. See, that's what happens. The cover-up. That is the problem. Yes, the victims need to have justice. But I honestly don't believe that the trafficking issue, I don't believe that's the big issue in this. I believe the massive cover-up is because the crimes and the money laundering and the power behind it. The people like Leon Black, or the people like Wexler, or the people like Clinton, the people like Dershowitz, the people that are tied to Gates, those kind of people, it's not really probably the dangers of what they got blackmailed for. It's probably the dangers of what he did with their money. Did you know that Epstein, if you go back, even VH1, if you remember VH1, you remember back in the days in the early 90s, you had MTV and VH1, they do like these MTV cribs, and then VH1 would do like, how they went from rags to riches, where they came from a teacher to a billionaire. They did a story on Epstein. Go find it. But it talks about his close relationships with Kevin Spacey and Bill Clinton, and how he was a teacher at Dalton and all of a sudden then became this mega rich billionaire by trading. Did you know there's not one trade under his name? How was he such a good trader? Wasn't that. He had other powers and his power of blackmail. Now here's the thing. Liam Block gave him $145 billion to be tax, assessor or accountant. Wexler basically gave him the keys to the kingdom. Bill Gates' wife left him because of their crazy relationship. The bottom line is the associations with this man is what we should know. Honestly, do you care to know the names? It's great to know the names because they're the ones in power. Here's the thing though, transparency is the key. If our government will lie about this, our government will lie about everything. That's the problem. That's why people are upset. It's not just the fact of this one man that went to Dalton that had ties to the bars, had ties with the Maxwells, had ties with the Trumps, has ties with the Gates, has ties with everybody. It's the fact that the cover-up is in. I mean, just a few weeks ago, it was on the desk. Why is it now it's non-existent? Just a few weeks ago, we have footage of in the cell, Bongino said. Now we're seeing footage from upstairs with cut, modified. It's the lies and cover-up. Now, the lies and cover-up has been going on since Kennedy. We understand that. It's been going on since all these other situations, all through history with the wars. The bottom line is that's the biggest problem. You wonder how governments break down. It's because their people lose trust and credibility with their leadership. And this is exactly what's happening. We trusted Trump to open the files. I'm not going to forget it. It has nothing to do with just this man. It has nothing to do with just this woman in prison. It has to do with the fact of the cover-up. I'm sick of it. Just like the weapons deal with Ukraine. They're trying to justify it and say, well, we're not giving it to them, we're selling it to them. But the purpose was we were going to quit these wars. See, that's the problem. It's the massive cover-up and lies. Matt Gaetz came out just 2 days after meeting with the president now. He met with the president. The next day, he is like the biggest Bondi cheerleader. Matt Gaetz is. I wonder why. All of a sudden, Bongino takes a leave of absence for that Friday. Now he comes back invigorated. What's he invigorated for? To lie to us more? He's probably misconstrued. He's probably struggling because he's thinking, I told these people I was going to stand up for them, and now I can't even stand up for them. I imagine there's somebody in a really nice big black suit sat across from people like Patel, Bondi, and Bongino and says, this is how it's going to be. There was another guy that said, if these come out, it will devastate our markets because of all the people that would be affiliated with it that might not even be guilty. Well, I'll be honest with you. If it takes us losing a lot of billions and trillions and losing our economy and destabilizing it for a little bit, destabilize our government because we're finding truth that our leaders are absolute corrupted, I think we should know. Representative Khanna, Democrat, pushed to release all these files. I think it's so funny that now the Democrats are saying this. It always is the party that's not in power that's pushing this. Republicans were last time. Now it's Democrats. You know why? Because they know it makes them look like they're wanting it to be strong and they're tough and they're wanting the truth. But when they get to power, they never get truth. Because remember, Democrats had power, what, just a few years ago? Or a few months ago, to be honest with you, didn't release the files either. See, that's why it's all lies. Committee. It went to committee to release and allow Maxwell to speak to the leadership, and guess what? The Republicans voted it down. The Republicans stopped her from speaking. The Republicans stopped her from speaking. It's ridiculous, people. It's not the fact of this gentleman. It's the fact of the massive cover-up by our government. That's why this is important. You want faith and trust in the government. It doesn't come because Trump and Kennedy and Gabbard are all in power now. It becomes because the leadership is actually being transparent. I love Bongino and I love Patel, but I'm losing respect for them each and every day because they sold out. Don't tell me they didn't sell out. Because if they fought on if you're picturing these guys that's giving their life for service in different facets and all of a sudden stop giving their life for service, there's a problem. Here's my favorite. You hear all the time, well, we're working behind the scenes. Well, you better freaking quit working behind the scenes and start working in front of the scenes or you're going to lose the elections, the midterms, and then you're not going to get anything passed. It's time for us to open the doors to see the corruption and see what we were tied to. If we don't, I'm sorry. We will never trust anybody in our leadership anymore. And this is our best opportunity. It's our best opportunity. Without Trump and without these leaders, and we go to more of a political base like a Bush or a, Clinton or Cheney or Obama again, then you've lost all foresight and the nation's gone. That's why I think people like in New York City are turning to the communists. That's why the Somali guy from Minnesota will probably win the Minnesota mayorship. Why? Because people are sick and tired, and so they won't change. And change to them is going even more deep into a chasm because we're not getting transparency and the cover-up is real. Honestly, fire every one of them. In all these Republican congressmen who are now not allowing this to pass on the committee, I mean, it failed, and the people that made it fail, Republicans. It's pathetic. You can tell I get a little upset about it, but to be honest with you, I'm just tired of the cover-up. Before we go further in the video, a word from today's sponsor. This sponsor has been with us now for really a few weeks now, and to be honest with you, it's something that I truly believe in. This is probably one of the most positive feedback sponsors I've had. Chapter. When you get to a certain age and you start looking at Medicare and understanding it, and you're 65, you're trying to figure out what's right for you, man, there's so many people that sell so many different kind of policies, so many insurance companies, your doctors, your hospitals, everybody has an opinion. Opinions are not bad, but to be honest with you, those opinions may not best fit you. They may best fit them. So that's where Chapter comes in. Call this number below. Chapter comes alongside you as your personal advisor. And again, it is free. F-R-E-E, free. It costs you nothing and actually saves you a lot of money. $1,100 is the average saving per American. Check with them today. Now, you may have the best plan possible. If that's the case, Chapter will be glad to tell you. But if not, you could save a lot of money. And when you're older and the economy like it's at, and you're trying to save money, you're trying to live on Social Security, you're trying to figure out the next coming years with medical and health, Chapter can be an advisor for you, and it's free. Check with Chapter today. The number's below. There's a link in the description. This will be the best 15 to 20 minute call you've had, because it's not only going to save you money, it's going to open your eyes to understanding what you need and what you have when it comes to Medicare. Now back to the stories. Massive flooding. I got two videos here. This is from New York and New Jersey. Now, we're up to about 7 states with this rain. Again, there comes down to 2 reasons. First reason is this act of God, that we're literally seeing the wrath of God. It is literally dangerous in biblical times. Now, do I believe that's probably happening? It could, because God has that power, and volcanoes could go off, hurricanes could go off, and I believe that sometimes we deserve it because of the way we've chose to live our life. The point of the story of the persecution of Christians coming next, but it may be more than that. It may be weather modification. It may be the fact that we're playing with it. Now, you could take the fact of the cloud seeding out. That's a big deal. But what's even bigger is the push for engineering to literally cloud the sun. It's already happening across the globe. It's happening in China. It's happening in England. Do you know in China, like our budget in America, I think so, like a few million for cloud seeding, which is bad. I'm not making light of it. But I think that's their budget every month. It's like hundreds of millions in China to do the exact same thing. It's happening in the desert area in the Middle East. So this is becoming a bigger practice, and the sad thing is when we try to play in God's infinite wisdom and glory, and we try to do that, it always causes problems. We try to fix the food causes cancer. It's not good. We try to fix this, it causes more problems. We try to build this, it makes more chemicals. What we've realized is God is more powerful than that. And I believe instead of us trying to play with the weather, we need to let the weather be what the weather is. What is going on in these cities? Do you realize the massive chaos in the cities if you start seeing flooding like they saw in Texas and North Carolina? And you start filling up these subways and these places where people are at, and they have no way of getting out, no transportation. And you're taking the Texas situation and adding literally millions of people, millions upon millions upon millions to it. It's going to be a mass civil chaos situation. Why are we seeing this flooding? Now, I know news brings up certain stories when it's convenient for them. But I don't ever remember a time when you saw this much massive flooding across the United States. And we're really not in a time where massive rains happen in dead of summer. It's just not common, especially in places like New York and New Jersey. North Carolina has seen massive floodings. Texas, again, we've talked about that. New Mexico? Come on, how crazy is that? Now, in Mississippi, we see tons of flooding. We've had afternoon showers every day. Massive rains, trees down. That's kind of normal for us. Not really in the summer, but it's kind of normal for us. But in some of these places it's not. What's happening? Is it because we're trying to play God? Could have something to do with it. And last story. If you hadn't heard this last week, on Sunday, there was an attack at a church. There's an individual, Maxwell, Representative Maxwell, complaining there wasn't enough white people in the Alcatraz prison of the deporting that needs to take place. It was only Latinos and people with dark skin. And he was mad that there was not white people there. You're starting to see a massive push, and you saw this really over the last 5 to 10 years, to push against the white conservative Christian man. If we don't, as white conservative Christian men, stand up and actually lead our families and be better leaders, like, I think the biggest problem is that a lot of times those labels, conservative Christian man, white conservative Christian man, whatever you want to say, goes along with a lot of these bad players in Washington, a lot of these bad players in politics, a lot of these bad players in Wall Street. And so then they're associated with people like us who are just common Christian conservative men who want to lead their families. We're getting led by people who are not actually true leaders. And I think that puts a bad taste in people's mouth. My thing is this: if we really want to change the world and we really want the world to be better, we have to stand up for our families. We have to represent good conservative Christian values, and we have to represent who we are. We shouldn't be ashamed of that. And just like this guy speaking ill that there was not enough white people in the Alcatraz prison, and all of a sudden we see, 2 or 3 churches over the last few months getting literally attacked. Is this really what we want? Is this really what we need? Is this really what we want? No. But to be honest with you, the sad thing is this: until Christian white men actually stand up for their beliefs and actually stand on moral principles and really push against the social construct of America, it will never take place. France just said that they're going to take in about 1 million Gazans. Afghans now are being sent, that's like 150,000 sent to Great Britain. Those nations are falling day in and day out. They're losing their culture, and pretty much they're not going to be allies of ours before long. So really the only way American can thrive is truth, like we talked about, transparency, and better leadership. And honestly, it comes down to the white conservative Christian man. If we're not doing our part for our families and for America, then I believe the America that we knew will then become the Great Britain and the European countries that we see that's falling right now. I'm sick and tired of the politics. I'm sick and tired of the push down. I'm sick and tired of the fact that we're the ones that we're the problem. And I'm sick and tired of the blame that's always put on the white person or the conservative or the Christian. It's time to stand up. There shouldn't be Muslim leaders in America. It shouldn't. We should not be electing people who are Muslim leaders in America. I laugh because the biggest pusher behind Tucker Carlson right now, the reason I think he's spewing a lot of things that may be untrue, look into it. Who's his biggest backer? It's a guy who has a Pakistani father and an Iranian mother, and who pushes a lot of narratives that are not what we would consider Christian conservatism. Do you think he's skewed and leaned the wrong way? Sadly, everybody has biases. Sadly, everybody has money funneling to them. The question is, who is going to be the real person to stand up? To represent Christ, represent morals, values, and peace. I'll be honest with you, I was hoping a lot for this administration, but the Epstein files and the cover-up has let us down. I want something different. The only way we're going to come out of this is a full transparency. And if Trump really wants to gain America's trust again, he's got to release it. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Let me know your thoughts on today's video. God bless.